so that your body will breathe by itself. It doesn't need you to interfere with the breathing, but you will interfere unintentionally as you're teaching yourself to alter the pattern to breathe properly once more. And this is the antidote. Hi. Are you a pine or an oak? Part 3. There is something here which is really, really important, and I notice this with many, many clients and acquaintances, that there is something that is holding them back from being who they're supposed to be. And this is to do with breathing. How we breathe is really, really important. And the majority of people are still oblivious to this. And it really, really matters, because breath is the indispensable essence of being a human being. So what happens is that people breathe into their chests. So they'll go like this. And that's how they breathe. When they do that, the breath goes to the top third, half of the lungs. The bottom of the lungs do not get any air. And invariably what happens is, as soon as people begin to get anxious, conflicted, they start to breathe more and more from the upper chest. You may say, well, why are they doing that? Why aren't they breathing properly? I'll come back to what breathing properly is in a minute. And the reason for that is that when we're very young, being part of the pine environment, we are conflicted within ourselves from a very early age. And the programming that comes into us that conflicts with our natural physical body way of being, something has to give. And what gives is the diaphragm. So we very early on, 5, 6 years old, we already learn that if we hold the diaphragm, then we stop the connection with our lower abdomen. And we disconnect from the emotional intensity that ensues if we stay with the conflict. Because there's my mind saying something and there's my body wanting something else. Something has to give, the diaphragm gives. And the diaphragm will gradually seize up over the years, to the point that by the time we're adults, we want to be oaks. We start to look around. Oh, I'll explore this. I'll do mystical this. I'll go follow a guru that over there or whatever. We want to move out of the cage we feel in, and we can't. Because to become an oak is to own up and to be with our emotions, to have emotional free flow and to be free of mental conflicts. And to get there, we've got the gatekeeper, which is blocking us. So the first thing that people need to learn is how to breathe properly. And it is easier said than done. I have many clients being with me, yes, they're still not doing it. And they're not doing it because they're not putting the time. They haven't my fault perhaps, they haven't truly understood the importance of proper breathing. But to breathe properly, we first of all need to relax the diaphragm. And the diaphragm is a muscle that needs to be relaxed by massaging from the bone inwards and downwards. And this needs to be done quite a few times a day. If you are a chronic upper chest breather, i.e., you very quickly run out of breath when you're anxious, it means that your diaphragm is quite stuck. And so you massage it in an inward way. It's like spooning. You spoon it in. You spoon it in, and you can do both. And you might do a few minutes every day. You want to be able to stick your thumbs right in, your fingers, sorry. Your fingers. You need to be able to stick your fingers right in. Yeah. And if you start to do that and it feels painful, then you know that you actually are in a state of spasm, that the ligaments are quite rigidified, and so you need to work at this to make them supple once more. Step number one. Step number two is, what does proper breathing mean? Proper breathing means that the diaphragm comes down, the ribs at the bottom expand, and the air reaches the bottom of the lungs. Now, people normally go, I may need to stand up for this. So people normally go, all right? Wrong breathing. We want to expand this, so we want to go. Now, when I'm teaching people, normally to begin with, I actually say lower abdomen, and you go. And that's simply to make it easier to connect with it. But once you've got the hang of that, and you might need to put some books on your lower abdomen as you're lying down, take breaths. You want to see the book rising and lowering with the in-breath. So in-breath, book expands, out-breath, book goes back inwards. And when you get the hang of that, then you can focus on real breathing, which is the expansion of the diaphragm by moving the ribs out, which is so I've been taking you through a number of meditations where we go into the unconscious, which is a really important process. But there are basics which no going inwards is going to resolve, because the obstructions are physical, and namely the diaphragm. So it is essential, not just for you, but if you've got children, to teach yourself how to do this properly, and to also share with your children how to breathe properly. I taught all my children when they were young, and it has stood them in good stead. I did create a video some time back to do with breathing, which I'll link to there, and it would be well worth your time to do so. To change your breathing is not an overnight thing. It could be 6 months or more of dedicated working on yourself at a physical level to change the pattern, so that, for example, I'm usually aware of my breath most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time I'm aware. And I am especially aware if, for whatever reason, I become anxious in some way or other. Sometimes it happens, a little bit of conflict arising. And I start to breathe into my upper chest. And because I've taught myself now for many, many years how to breathe properly, it only takes me breathing the wrong way for putting me right back into my body. Hold on a minute. And relax my abdomen and begin to breathe properly all over again. So it becomes a tool, because we're all human, it becomes a tool to maintain equanimity within ourselves and presence and being here. You want to become an oak? You think you're an oak? You won't be a true oak until you learn to breathe properly. Dedicate yourself to it. Hi. So I'm editing the video on breathing, and I realized I missed something really important. As you begin to practice proper breathing, you are going to inevitably interfere with the breathing process. And that's never a good idea, but it's going to happen. And you become hyper-conscious of the in-breath, the out-breath, and now you can't let it go. You're like obsessed with it. And you need to let it go. So this is my suggestion. We never focus on the in-breath. We only focus on the out-breath. Let the in-breath happen by itself. If you do this properly, it's going to happen. So you're lying down in bed, and now you start to become aware that you are breathing. You can't stop the breathing. Focus on the out-breath. Hold it. Hold everything tight in your abdominal area. And when you can't hold it anymore, allow the breath to come in by itself. Repeat. Hold it. Hold it till you can't hold it anymore. And let it go. And that will reset the clock so that your body will breathe by itself. It doesn't need you to interfere with the breathing, but you will interfere unintentionally as you're teaching yourself to alter the pattern to breathe properly once more. And this is the antidote. You focus on the out-breath. When you're stuck, focus on the out-breath, breathe all the way out, hold it. That engages the parasympathetic part of your system. It relaxes you. Okay, bye for now.